How's it going? Hex price is up 1200x, or hit 1200x without staking. That's hex.com. And it hit like 1600x or more, 2400x with staking. Pretty awesome for a year and a half. Everyone that's been promoting Bitcoin to you for the last couple of years has lied to your face and told you it was going to outperform everything and everything else is going to go to zero. In fact, Ethereum is making multi-year highs against Bitcoin, and it is up 5x versus Bitcoin over the last 1.7 years. Wow, 5x. I thought that all the coins that weren't Bitcoin were going to go to zero. But in fact, if you really loved Bitcoin, you could have sold it and had 5x more Bitcoin now if you had bought Ethereum instead. Funny how that works. So if you thought 5x versus Bitcoin was a lot, you'll be really surprised that Hex is up like 192x versus Bitcoin from January 5th until, I don't know, yesterday, day before, something like that. But guys, I thought Bitcoin was going to be the best. No. Smart people like me told you the truth when no one else would do it. And isn't it funny that all those people that have been preaching for you to lose all your money and get wrecked margin trading, they didn't tell you about the thing that went up 1000x. Or if you were staked for 10 years, 2000x. Or if you were staked for 5 years, 1600x. Or if you were staked for 1 year, 1400x, whatever. I mean, actually, a third of 1200. You're up like 1700x just for a 1 year stake if you stake before the big payday. So like, I'm right, they're wrong. It's time for people to start showing respect. We have 100% uptime. Everyone else has hacks. Everyone else has downtime. We're better. Oh, and just like the title of this video here, we have a fork coming up, Ethereum fork. And you're going to get copies of just about every single coin that you've got on Ethereum. All your ERC20s, you're going to get copies of all those. And then the market gets to decide how valuable they are. Pretty amazing. The sacrifice phase for that should be coming up so soon. We're talking days, not weeks, days. Today, I just announced that we figured out how to solve the ratios issue. So the way that like exchanges work on Uniswap is the price is actually just the ratio of the two coins. So if if something costs like if there's 100 USDC in a pair and then there's 100 of the other token, then one token equals 1 USDC. That's the price. And then if there's 200 USDC in a thing and there's only 50 of the other thing, well then since there's a 4-to-1 ratio, the price is 4, right? So if you 10,000x the supply, which is what we're doing in Pulse, we're 10,000xing the supply so that the Ethereum guys just get freemium, right? They have enough to transact. But if they don't use that, or if they don't move that into a new address, that'll be taken back at the end of 30 days because we want the thing to be valuable, and valuable things, it really matters who holds the coins. So ERC20 guys, they're not getting a 10,000 to 1 dilution. But what you end up with is now, if there's 10,000 times more supply of what is the new Ethereum on the system, Pulse, then the ERC20s are underpriced because there's a whole lot more Pulse, but there's not a whole lot more ERC20. And then the first guy to transact on the network, he would get to arbitrage those out and basically buy up all the ERC20s with a cheap Pulse. And then you don't want the first guy to be able to transact to be able to do that because it just benefits him, it doesn't benefit anyone else. So we figured out we could have the system buy up all the ratios, which would give the ERC20 holders and the liquidity providers of the ERC20s in those pairs more Pulse. And then, the system would get ERC20s in return, and then it could replace those back in as liquidity into the same automated market makers where they were removed. And what you would end up with is, liquidity that would be there that, may not have otherwise been. And there's no first, you don't have to worry about some guy that's the first guy to be able to transact on the system doing that. It's better to have the system do it than to have some random guy do it. So that was a cool discovery, a cool breakthrough. What else? I'll be checking chat. I've got another call I've got to do in an hour and 20 minutes. So this stream is not going to be longer than that. Let's spread the old link here. Hex News, t.me/Hex News. And then boom, we share that with Hex Trading, t.me/Hex Trading, Hexcom, t.me/Hex Crypto, and Strape and PulseChain.com. And then while we're at it, we might as well put it on the Twitter too. Trying something new, like spreading this link after I've already gotten started so that people from YouTube don't hit just a guy blankly staring at a screen trying to spread links. Instead, they get to have that experience a couple minutes delayed. 1 second. Hex News. Give it the old copy. And let's put this bad boy on Twitter. Almost done, guys, and then I'll get to your questions. Also, I yesterday I called out for, you know, who the best effective altruism charities are. I started going through the list, and I'm like, this looks exactly like what Bill Gates is already funding with way more money. So if you're looking for things that help the third world, Bill Gates is your man. Maybe Soros is your man. If you're looking for medical technology that might help you and yours, and, you know, people you can talk to and may meet in your lifetime, I'm kind of partial to sends.org. So for the sacrifice phase, you're going to be able to sacrifice to a 503c charity, sends.org. But I mean, they've also got a UK branch. Apparently they've got somebody in Australia that can accept donations and forward them or something. Have a look into it. But all those other effective altruism charities, you're not going to be able to sacrifice to this, guys. I'll shill them anyway. If, you know, givewell.org and effectivealtruism.org, go ahead, visit them. But I think sends.org needs the money more, in my opinion. Yeah, send this tweet here. Should I send as a response to my tweet that everyone already retweeted? Probably, right? Let's do that. Oh, look, I already did send it. Well, I'll send it as a response too. Yay. All right. So let's get to people's questions here. All right, people. Let's see those questions. Make to where watch on both wrists. Yeah, you know, I should get around to that. It's too clunky to do it now. I was waiting for a new baller watch, but not everyone is as reliable as I. The sacrifice thing appears to be confusing. Don't know why. Seems fairly straightforward. Yep, I hear you. I'll make it easier. No worries. The other thing to be wary of is, like, when the sacrifice phase comes out, you are going to see so many scam addresses from so many fake accounts trying to get you to donate to fake shit. So in order to combat that, you verify the address across multiple channels that you know I control. And as long as the address matches across all of them, then it's the right address, barring everything getting hacked at once or you getting 3 imposters or something like that. BTC in 3 months, minus 25%, while Hex is plus 1,200%. Not bad. Not bad. Hex.com. Not bad. Ethereum may be outperforming Bitcoin, but aren't the gas fees supposed to be fixed? Because last time I checked, the gas fees are still ruining the project. Hey man, you know what? I'm glad you feel that way. So maybe you would be interested in my fork of Ethereum, which has 4 times the throughput, which solves the gas fees, hopefully, for Ethereum and definitely on the PulseChain network. So glad you mentioned that. Glad you noticed it. t.me/PulseChain.com. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, while you're there, you might as well subscribe, right? Richard Hart is a trailblazer, the leader the Hex community deserves. Thanks, man. Thanks for those kind words. Fantastic new Richard, loving what you're doing for the community. Thanks. Where are them haters at? Yeah. Haters extinct. Haters wrecked. 1200x before interest, up to 2400x plus after interest. What do you want in a year and a half? 100% uptime. Can't beat it. Huge liquidity. One address sold 6.2 million over the last 2 weeks. Price kept making new all-time highs. Nothing wrecks Bitcoin Maximus more than a 192x price increase. You missed a digit there. It's 1200x. I mean, we could make that number. If you wanted to game that number, you could make it even higher. But I think 1200x, which is 120,000%, it's enough. I think 120,000% in a year and a half. You don't have to like pick a low exchange and then pick a high exchange. So we measure it accurately. That's all on-chain verifiable. Low on Uniswap v1, high on Uniswap v2, because that's where all the volume is now. Can't get more accurate than that. How will Uni v3 work on Pulse? It's going to work the same that it does on Ethereum. It's the exact same code. I mean, if there's certain front ends that you want to see, those people need to let those front ends to see the other network by connecting to different, API servers, but it's the same code. Richard, are you going to use unstoppable domains for the sacrifice addresses? No. I don't believe in that middleware crap. Oh, look, extra abstraction that can fail. No thanks. Richard, just wanted to thank you again for making new millionaires. Any feedback or response from Coinbase on your inquiry? No, I didn't really make an inquiry. Everyone else made an inquiry. Everyone else is tagging Coinbase and tagging Brian Armstrong. I'm not. So you guys need to ask yourselves if there's any input. Like, if they want a list, they know where to reach me, and they don't need me. What do they need me for? It's very public and obvious what the contract address is. They don't need me. So will I be able to buy Pulse Chain like any other coin? Well, if you want to use centralized exchanges, they would need to list it. But since there's going to be bridges to other chains like Ethereum, you can just buy and sell through ERC20s that you could sell elsewhere, like USDC or Ethereum itself, things like that. So because of bridges, you don't really care as much about exchanges directly listing you. It is nice to save on Ethereum fees, though, which is the whole idea of the thing. So, I have a feeling that if we bring into the world 10,000 new coins that people are getting for free, specifically the people that previously had those coins on Ethereum, I think that they're going to be very happy about that. So we may get less gatekeeping, and we may get more adoption because people love free money. And these people tend to be more friendly and open to new ideas, more so than the last people that got a bunch of free money. The 300,000 Bitcoin that was used to mint free HEX, those guys seem to be more socially conservative. Richard Hart, the disruptor. Thanks, man. Long live Richard Hart. Nice. T-share price soaring. Probably a good idea to stake ASAP. Yeah, if you thought the 1200x return on just holding HEX without staking it was, like if you thought that was good in the first year and a half, the share price actually went from 60 cents to over $1,000. It went from about, we'll just call it 1,000. So 1,000 over 60 cents is 1,700x. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Those T-shares are getting real expensive. T-share just means trillion shares. It's how the rewards from inflation and penalties, the interest in the HEX system, the stakers get that. So Richard's the fucking man. Thank you. Much respect, Richard Hart. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, tickle the bell. All right. Did I miss some chat? Of course I did. You guys are typing faster than I can keep up. We love you, Richard. Once I will be rich hard because of Richard. Haha. What a dad joke. Somebody says tops don't last multi-weeks. It is weird. It is weird that Bitcoin has been going roughly sideways for 90 days. Pretty weird. Pretty new. It used to go vertical up or vertical down, and the only time you get sideways is after bear market. And this is a bull market, so really weird. The Bitcoin chart's doing new things it hasn't done before. The Bitcoin maximalist keeps telling you that all value is getting swallowed by one asset, but the price chart doesn't say that. That's true. The price chart says Bitcoin's getting its ass kicked by almost everything. Yeah. Who would have known? I knew. I told you. I was right. They were wrong. Let them know they were wrong. Let them know how much money they cost you with their shitty advice. Tag a Bitcoin maximalist and let them know. Or a gatekeeper, someone that hid HEX from you. Think about how much money they cost you. Let them know how you feel about that. Are they going to hide Pulse from you as well? Interesting. So much corruption out there. Who's my next call with? Some Harvard guys. They're doing some cool stuff. PEX stuff. Glad you figured out the liquidity issue for the liquidity providers. Yeah. What is your prediction on HEX price in a bear market? I don't know, dude. I love HEX. I mean, it's designed to overperform in a bear market. The majority of its liquidity is dollar-based instead of crypto-based, and therefore it's less reflexive, and therefore it outperforms in a bear market. It's awesome. I love HEX. Richard just wanted to thank you again for making new millionaires. Any feet? Oh, I got that one. How do you get Pulse Chain? Go to t.me/pulsechaincom and learn about it. Did my first stake yesterday. Glad to hear it. Talk with Tiffany. Welcome to the party. I thought you could only sacrifice to charity if it was through Coinbase. The charity, sends.org, handles their crypto receiving, which they by law must sell, through Coinbase. So the only things they can accept are on Coinbase, so they can dump them for fiat. They don't accept HEX. They don't accept Pulse. So the things that they'll be dumping will not be HEX and will not be Pulse. And you'll also only get 75% credit for sending to them instead of other addresses. But if you like charity and you want to support charity, can't think of a better one. Richard Hart, saving the world again. Thanks. If I were to start dollar cost averaging in the HEX with small amounts, $200 per month, do I stake each month or do I wait until I got a bigger HEX bag and then stake? With the gas fees as high as they are, I would definitely wait until you had a larger stack or were doing it for long time frames, because the gas fees right now are just gross, really gross. That calculus and math will be different when Pulse Chain exists, but on Ethereum only, the gas fees can be quite high. So you should ask in chat about that, and they'll give you specific numbers. t.me/hex crypto. Well, Pulse has NFTs. Yes. Michael Saylor blocked me. Must have been for pointing out how much of a fraud he is and his SEC fraud. Hey, look, man. He settled with the SEC for millions of dollars over some fraud stuff. Fine. That was a while ago. But he also got everyone to buy Bitcoin and crypto in general for the treasuries of companies, which is an amazing breakthrough. So everyone should appreciate Michael Saylor shilling the living crap out of crypto to corporate treasuries, because it pumped everyone's bags. So understand that, yes, traders trade, and someday Michael Saylor could do an Elon and be like, Bitcoin's great, sell it, and then, oh, Bitcoin sucks now that I sold, right? So don't hero worship, but do respect him for getting billions of dollars of real money into crypto. Like everyone in crypto benefited from his hard work. So, and he's learning. He's a quick learner. A lot of the shit he says is, accurate. Like proof of store value is worth more than payment network. I've been saying that for years. He says it. Not everybody says that, right? So, some of the things he says are intelligent. Some of them are word salad. Like Bitcoin is protected by the murder hornets and the goddess of energy. And you're just like, bro, it's like, stop doing LSD. Stop talking gibberish, man. What are you talking about? So he doesn't know as much about crypto and Bitcoin as I do, but he's a quick study. So, and some of the shit he's saying, other people aren't saying it is right. And it's identical to some of the things I'm saying. So look, he could be a retard and a scam. And guess what? He pumped the fuck out of everyone's bags by billions of dollars. So be happy with it. Do you want Pulse to outperform Hex? It's a different product and it's a different pitch and it's a different mechanic. Hex monetizes time and Pulse kind of benefits from network effect of people joining and using the network and the world's largest airdrop and 4 times more throughput and lower fees. And it's just a different pitch. I do not know which coin will overperform, and it's a hard choice to make. If you have Hex and you stake Hex, then you're going to get stakes on 2 chains. If you just have Hex, you're going to have Hex on 2 chains. So you'll have Hex stakes on 2 chains and you'll have Hex on 2 chains. And I wouldn't like to see cheap Hex anywhere. I prefer Hex be expensive as hell everywhere that you can see it. So if you think Pulse is going to overperform because it's new and because the pain of $100 ERC20 send costs and $300 Uniswap costs is just disgusting, then, maybe you would sacrifice some of your other cryptos. You could sacrifice Hex if you want, but you might want to sacrifice your other cryptos because then you're not costing yourself a copy of Hex, which is probably, of coins on Pulse at launch, I can't imagine there will be a more popular coin at the beginning than Hex because of the crossover between people that already knew about Hex and that know about Pulse. So I don't know what advice to give you. A friend of mine forced me on the issue and I just took a guess and I'm like, 2/3 Pulse, 1/3 Hex with your liquid. I don't know, I really don't know. Good luck guessing it. Shouldn't the sacrifice to sends be higher than the regular address so everyone sacrifices to sends rather than just burning coins? From Bill Sherman, a guy that supports medical research technology, that supports longevity, and who is a pretty smart guy and knows what's going on with funding different projects. So if I were personally funding projects at this stage, I would get Bill Sherman's advice. CHERMAN. He wants to see sends get more. The answer to that, Bill, is imagine that. So right now you could theorize that whatever addresses would otherwise be receiving sacrifices, because they're not, let's say Bill Gates came along and Bill Gates said, I love the Sens Foundation, and he'll never say that because he believes every life is worth the same. I don't believe that at all. The government doesn't believe that at all either. We incarcerate some people, we kill some people, we fine some people, right? We enslave some people through taxes and judgments, things like that. Every life is not worth the same. Not. So I believe my life's worth a lot, my family's worth a lot, my friends is worth a lot, people I can interact with and feel related to are worth a lot, my tribe, my culture, my whatever. And then the further and further you get, the less I see you, the less I can communicate with you, the less our values are aligned. I just don't give a shit. And in fact, no one gives a shit. That's why you can tell what people give a shit about by where they spend their money and where they spend their time. So people lock their front doors. They don't give their car keys to people they don't know. They don't share their food with people they don't know very often, right? Like everyone in animal kingdom and in human society operates by these parameters, and it's silly for you to think that everyone's life is worth the same. It's absolutely silly. If a person were choking you to death, would you think his life was worth the same as yours? You'd be like, no, he's about to kill one of us. Like, so dumb. So let's say, just thought experiment. And you know what? So many people dislike Bill Gates, even though they shouldn't dislike him in the way that they do. Let's pick a different guy. Let's pick Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln comes back from the dead, And he says, you know what? I like the Sens Foundation, so I'm going to offer matching funds. For every $100 you give to the Sens Foundation, Abraham Lincoln writes the Sens Foundation a $100 check. But then what if he says, okay, it's not enough multiplier. If you give 100, then Abraham Lincoln will give 75. Basically, it's matching funds, right? So what Bill is saying is, hey, if Abraham Lincoln was here and someone donates 100, why don't you give 125? Well, the maximum cap on that is how much Abraham Lincoln has money, right? Because if people spent and donated 80% of the money Abraham Lincoln had, he wouldn't be able to match funds anymore because he'd run out of money. Oops. So you literally, you can't offer matching funds that exceeds the money that you have. And the more that you're matching funds, the more, like, it's not mathematically doable. But this is like, so if you want to donate to the Sens Foundation and get your tax write-off, they got a UK version, they got a US version, you can do that. And you're going to get 75% of the credit that you would have got had you sacrificed to a different address. Which is the same thing as if you had donated and gotten nothing, except now you're a member of the sacrifice set, which is something you wouldn't have got. So for instance, Vitalik just gave $4 million to the Sens Foundation. Shout out to Vitalik Buterin. I truly dislike that you 12x'd our gas costs over 2 years from 300 gwei for an S load up to 1200. And I really hate this last one you did with the Berlin fork where you 2x'd our gas cost. Well, you up to 2.7x them, but they averaged out to 2x for hex users to prevent a fantasy attack that wasn't occurring and hasn't occurred for years. You just decided to preemptively screw us. I really, really, truly hate that. And it inspired me to save you and to save your network by doing proof of stake to save the environment, by increasing throughput by 4x, by making it so miners don't dump the price because they're not paying for negative externalities of burning up the electricity. I'm going to solve some of Ethereum's problems, and I'm going to give the world's biggest airdrop to everybody. And you were a big inspiration for doing that by absolutely robbing us with the S-load gas changes. A preemptive optimization that I think you did more for this ETH2 merge, and I think you did it more for other reasons that weren't actually to protect the network. Disgusting, right? You basically robbed all the hexkins. But even though you screwed us there, you are the world's top #1 hero, awesome, amazing dude for giving $4 million to the Sens Foundation. And you gave $2.5 million at the end of 2017. And you just gave, I think, like 30 or 40 million to a bunch of effective altruism charities. Awesome dude for doing those things. I really do appreciate that. And, you know, we actually have the same end goals in mind. We want to see a better world. We want to see more freedom for users. We want to get rid of exchanges. You and I have goals aligned so much on these things. And so I wish more people would show you the respect you deserve. You write open source software, you support charity, and you're out there on the front lines still doing the hard work and trying to make things better, which Satoshi, that little bitch, he hid and ran away like a coward. As soon as Gavin Anderson said he was going to do an interview with the CIA, Satoshi disappeared like a little bitch. So now I do more for Bitcoin than Satoshi does. You do more for Bitcoin than Satoshi does. I love when Bitcoin maximalists talk shit about me. You're like, I'm the one that gave Bitcoin maximalists exclusively free hex that they could mint that's worth millions and millions of dollars. Which other Bitcoin maximalist has enriched you in that way? Right? So anyway, give credit where credit's due. Vitalik Buterin deserves your credit. He deserves respect. Wish he didn't fuck us on the gas like that. That really sucked. But that's fine. It inspired us to do something even more amazing. So what was this? Oh yeah. So Bill Sherman's question about 125% matching. You know, there's this like beggars choosers argument. It's like, hey, why don't you just live in a tent and give all your money away to charity? You're like, I don't know, man. I like having a $1,000 watch. It's okay. You know, I still spend barely nothing. I spend like nothing %. of my net worth. So it's, what if it doesn't work, right? Like you have to play the odds. So I'm doing real good giving the sacrifice set a 75% credit for donations to the Sense Foundation. Let's see how it goes, right? If I were looking for maximum traction, if I were using donation as some type of like on-ramping, onboarding tool, Sense Foundation would be the absolute worst foundation in the world to do it for, because they don't get jack shit for donations compared to any other charity. That's why it's important that I hook them up as opposed to all the other charities out there. I mean, even Vitalik gave more to other charities. They're going to help a lot of people that you're never going to meet. Don't know why. I mean, it's just simple, guys. Are you going to get malaria? Are you going to get sickle cell anemia? Are you going to get guinea worm? If you don't live in a place where these things are likely to occur to you, why are you blowing your money on them so that your kids can die earlier of the shit that they are going to get? They are going to get cancer. They are going to get heart disease. That kills 80% of people. Why don't we work on the stuff that might help your family, might help your offspring, does kill 80% of the people? Sorry, guys. Like, you know, Bill Gates is spending more billions for you guys. I'm going to do the thing that no one else is doing. They're not focused on the long term. If we can get you 3 years of healthy life, it's worth more than curing cancer. If we can get you 3 years of healthy life, it's worth more than curing heart disease. People don't realize that. That's the math. If you cured heart attacks, which kill 40% of people, you just die of the next thing, because the decaying system causes those pathologies to kill you. And if you get rid of one, then the next one just kills you. So reducing the decay and doing regeneration makes everything better. You'll have a better memory, you'll have better heart-ons, you'll be more fit, you'll have better lung capacity, you'll look better, your skin will be better. Like, regenerative medicine is such a wonderful solution to keep you young longer, as opposed to these stupid band-aids that just then the next thing kills you. So in regards to Bill's question, you can't do it like, yeah, I think it's good enough. And if it's not good enough, we can address it later, right? Richard Hart, you're a legend. Thank you. How do you get Pulse Chain? Go to t.me/PulseChain.com. Hey, Richard, if the goal is to get the most Pulse, HEX is the best way to get a copy. What? Hey, Richard, if the goal is to get the most Pulse, HEX is the best to get the copy from Ethereum HEX or sacrifice. Man, fuck, your question is like, has anyone ever gone farther to do, look, go more like? It's like a brain stopper, bro. Jesus. I'm just going to assume that what you're asking is, I mean, look, right now, because sacrificing for the sacrifice set is US dollar measured, the coin that has the best performance and is the most sensitive to dollar input is HEX, which is, you know, HEX for a certain amount of dollar input can go higher than anything else in the donation set. And I think people figured that out, and it may be part of the reason why the price is 5 or 6x in the last, I don't know, couple weeks or something like that. It's just a theory. I mean, they don't mention it to me. They're like, hey, I just bought because, like, nobody, I'm just guessing, right? But it kind of makes sense. Like, if you bought $1 million USD into Ethereum, how much does the Ethereum price move up? Nothing. If you buy $1 million USD into HEX, how much does the price move up? A good amount. And then if you sacrifice them, one didn't move up and one did move up. Well, you're going to get more credit for the one that did move up, right? So when we get to the staking phase on Pulse, do we get to maintain our private keys? Of course. Here's what I believe in. No admin keys, no oracles, and you mint your own coins and you have your own private keys, and there's no middlemen and there's no counterparty risk and there's true decentralization. That's what I believe in. That's what I'm in crypto for. So anything that I'm involved with, that's what you're going to see. I mean, in this case, there's a slight difference in that something has to say across different chains how much came in. So this address sacrifice this amount on this chain. This address, sacrifice this amount on this chain. This address, sacrifice this amount on this chain. So in this very specific short time frame instance, there has to be an entity to be able to go across chains, right? And there has to be an entity that edits the database in the Ethereum fork. And there has to be, like, you can only reduce attack surface so much. And this method actually has the most reduced attack surface, because if you tried to write a contract to do this, that would be attackable. And then how would you know the contract did its job right? By just doing it all manually in Excel. And you're like, oh, well, then just do it manually in Excel. Like, it's, you know, people don't realize there's always there is always trust in cryptocurrency, because you didn't inspect the code and compile your own wallet. You're not running a node and verifying the parameters in the config file. Most people aren't mining. Most people aren't validating. There's a whole lot of trust, right? So I trust my keyboard, right? Who knows what's in here? There could be a little alien and a little spaceship in there, right? Watching TV under the keys. Richard, thanks for giving us a few Mondays. A lot of people have money coming in. All right. When will the snapshot be in relationship to the sacrifice phase? Totally different process. So sacrifice phase is going to be complete before mainnet, and they're just two different things, right? So mainnet happens after testnet. Testnet happens after a little bit more code is written. So right now, we made our first upstream commitment to improve Ethereum, because guess what, guys? Ethereum is not perfect. There's a lot of mistakes in it, and they can be fixed, and they can be improved, and they can be made better, and that is how open source works. So every week, every month, people make improvements to the code base. There's two popular implementations of the Ethereum code base. One is called Open Ethereum, which was called Parity, but all the devs left to work on another project, basically, and they're like, here, community, good luck. And then when that goes down, stat sites goes down. So if Parity client has a problem, you lose Etherscan and you lose some other stat sites. But all the people that are actually mining blocks, they use Geth or MEV Geth, and that's based on the Go language implementation of Ethereum, Geth, and that is what our fork is based on. That's what almost everyone else's forks are based on that don't have system state, so you don't get any free coins. And that's what we're improving recently. We have made improvements to Parity in the past. We have made improvements to Uniswap front end in the past. But people were afraid at that time to say they were hexagons, because they might get, discriminated against, because people didn't realize Hex was better than what they were doing. People didn't realize Hex was more secure and more price performant and more innovative than what they were doing. Now people are starting to figure it out. Now people are starting to understand that what I invented is amazing and world changing. They're finally starting to get it. They're finally starting to respect. And I think with Pulse Chain, we may see gates open that would be awesome, right? The more money and economic energy we can get out of all the scams and crappy projects of the world, of which every week I'm posting numerous failures, hacks, scams, constantly. I have a thread on Twitter that's so long you can't even, it's insane. I don't even post like $25 million hack day before yesterday. I didn't even want to post about it. It wasn't even big enough. I'm like, only 25 million, whatever. Maybe on a slow news day I'll post it. So it's like, Hex is so amazing. So I'm just saying that we are making open source better. We are improving the upstream projects. We are going to reduce load from the Ethereum network by giving people someplace else to do their transactions that doesn't cost $50 to do a send for an ERC20, that doesn't cost $100. It's been up to $100 to do a send, and it's been up to $300 to do a swap on Ethereum. That's not okay, man. And the only way to solve that problem is with more capacity. And so that's what we're doing.